Robert Scribbler for the OBX Wave Report on this beautiful Friday, January the 26th. And what a January day it is, with temperatures in the 70s here in parts of the Outer Banks. Just gorgeous day today. Waves not amazing, but still fun to be had on the sets. Looks like we got a bit of a lull right now, but on the north side of the Outer Banks, we got about 2-foot waves. And you're going to have to really hunt down your good breaks to find some good waves. I did get in the water earlier today on the south side and basically paddled around for some 1-footers. You really got to find the right sandbar for those 2-footers to form up. And here on the north side that we're filming, the waves are forming up quite a bit better. As you can see, even in between the sets here, we got a little bit of form, but on the sets things get better as those 2-foot waves roll in. To the south of us, we've got larger waves in the range of 2 to 4 foot as those southwesterly winds pick up better swell for the southerly beaches. So although it does look like it's a bit more choppier south in places like Rodanthe and Buxton. All right, so let's get down to the observations provided by yours truly, the wave monitors, the buoy data, and the Wave Watch 3 models. I'm going to modify some of the official wave reports based on my observations. Okay, right here at Nag's Head, the waves in the range of about 2 foot and semi-clean with a little bit of texture, with those southwesterly winds blowing in at about 13 to 15 miles per hour. You can probably hear it in the video right now. Southeasterly swell coming in at about 3.6 foot in 8 seconds. Really having trouble lining up to get that full height to those waves. So the waves are coming in more like in the range of about 2 foot with that larger southeasterly swell. Looks like, oh, here we go. A little ride here. See, there you go, about waist high on the drop. Maybe a little bit bigger there. Down in Rodanthe, 2 to 4 foot and fair, with southeasterly swell coming in about 4 foot and 8 seconds. Southwest winds a bit stronger there at 18 miles per hour. Air temperatures around 60 down there in Rodanthe, 52 for the water. Up here at Nag's Head, about 75 degrees as I mentioned. Ocean water temperatures quite a bit colder at around 49. Up and down the Outer Banks, for today we had a low tide between 2 and 3 p.m. and high tide today between 7 and 8. So we're aiming more for a high tide regime in the morning, low tide for late afternoon tomorrow. And at Buxton, 2 to 4 foot and semi-clean with a swell coming in from the south at 4.5 foot and 7 seconds southwesterly winds at 17. Air temperatures 71 degrees, ocean water temperatures 57. And at Frisco, 2 to 4 foot and choppy. All right, today, depending on where you are in the Outer Banks, 2 to 4 foot, clean to choppy. Smaller north, larger south. Temps upper 50s in some places, 70s in others. Very warm today. We got winds from the southwest and southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, looking at the winds shifting around to the northeast at between 7 and 15. So not heavy northeasterly winds, moderate northeasterly winds. Once again, 2 to 4 foot surf depending on your location. Semi-choppy condition, highs in the 50s. We're going to get rain tomorrow with those northeasterly winds. And on Sunday, 2 to 5 foot waves, clean to fair conditions, southwesterly winds, 10 to 18 miles per hour. Temps in the 60s with those southwesterly winds, and rain once again, tapering off by afternoon. By Monday, we get the cold. Those northwesterly winds start to blow really strong in the morning and continue throughout the day at 20 to 30 miles per hour. So not gale force, but getting strong, and 3 to 7 foot waves. So waves are really building up on Monday with those strong winds. And then on Tuesday, wave models predicting very heavy, semi-choppy surf conditions with 4 to 9 foot waves, north-northeasterly winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour. So this must be mainly driven by a storm offshore. Looking like we're going to have a storm form in the offshore and provide us with that massive 4 to 9 foot swell on Tuesday. Cold with highs in the mid 40s on both Monday and Tuesday. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX wave report on this very warm, very beautiful Friday. Hope you guys do get wet. It's just a really pleasant day to get in the water, particularly for January. On the north side of Jeanette's Pier, not too crowded. We at most had about 7 people in the water. It looks like right now about 5, and as you can see, very nicely spaced out for the sets coming in. It does look like there's a bit of a lull. Waves were a little bit better earlier, and we'll see if they improve through the afternoon with the rising tide. Definitely do recommend the north side, not the south side. Just was chasing a bunch of ghosts out there on the south side. So thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX wave report, and if you could please do everything you can to help protect our coastlines from the impacts of climate change driven by fossil fuel burning. Those impacts being rising sea levels, more intense storms, ocean heat waves, and ocean acidification. All of these represent a major threat to our coastal environment, our coastlines, our coastal infrastructure, the houses, the beaches, the reefs, all these things that we really enjoy here on the coast. And the main solution being the mass deployment of clean energy. Right now, in its mass deployable forms, wind, water, solar, and electric vehicles. Main benefit of these being that they outcompete fossil fuels on price, and they also benefit from economies of scale. So what that means is the more you produce, the less they cost. And the other thing being that they're really a boon for jobs. It does employ a lot of people because it's a manufacturing chain that does produce wind turbines, solar panels, the hydro turbines for using water power, as well as big construction projects for hydro, and then of course the batteries and electric vehicles are also a manufacturing process. So big boon for jobs and a virtuous cycle for the economy, because it's a lot harder for harmful interests to get a corner on the market on a manufacturing chain. I mean, don't get me wrong, it can still happen, but it's a lot easier for harmful interests to gain control over like a big pile of coal or oil that's in the ground. It's a lot easier to control those resources. And the manufacturing in and of itself tends to be more shared, more democratic, and tends to enable people power more, which is something that is also good for everybody. All right, so thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX wave report. Hope you guys do get in the water today and find some good waves. It's hit or miss, but if you scout it out, you can find it, as I did in part 2 of my 2-hour session in the water today. Struggled to find some good ones in the first hour, but the second hour was just rocking it as the surf turned on. I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't amazing like, a couple weeks ago, but good waves in the range of about 2 foot, maybe 2.5. All right, so thank you for joining me, and I will be back with you shortly.